but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love, you say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose.
And you know something, you know, but you don't want to say it out loud because you're kind of afraid that it's not going to be really true and it'll spoil the whole thing for you, you know. But when somebody makes you say it, then, and it's true, then it just makes it more beautiful of a thing.
Welcome back. It's a brand new season of CGL.
This is just an absolute treat. These players are so damn good.
The talent on these teams is undeniable. Everybody on every team right now is making plays.
It's going to be an exciting start to the season, and it'll just get better from here on out.
We're about to step to a whole new era of Overwatch esports. So much exciting action is happening here on CGL that you do not want to miss.
Look who's starting it all off. It's Raven. No one necessarily figure out what is the right way to go just yet.
What a nice roll through him. He's just gonna solidify everything within those.
Does come back, and Arsario gets the mech, but I don't need a mech. I'll kill 4 anyway.
This is just a highlight reel for Arsario right now.
They're making a statement in the EU Masters here.
This patch is still incredibly fresh. There's so much to learn, so much to change about the way we play the game.
NKC, but the shatter is colossal.
Let's get it going.
Trades keep coming through. Lures, you're gonna be able to find these shots true.
Inu on the overclock with 2.
Here comes an Adlet immediately to back like fine skills, slicing and dicing their way through 2-3. So back and forth. Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to CGL, where we head to the mid-season tournament here for the NA Console Open tier. It is the Sussy Sloths taking on the Heroes Party. I am Dextron. That is Mega Last Mega. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing amazing, mid-season tournament. It's finally here. The season's flown by so fast already that we're at the midway point, and, we have 2 teams here, Dex. Mid-season tournament, everybody wants to, show up because coming out of this, you get to establish yourself as a top dog heading into the later half of the season. It's always good to build that confidence, build that credibility. And, like you said, Heroes Party and Sussy Sloths, we have 2 teams here who definitely want that street cred.
Yeah, absolutely. Both come into this one 3-1 on the season. You see the Heroes Party lineup right here. Galaxy smurfing on your DPS line, Mayo on the tank line, and Complex and Easton on the support line. I mean, Megalas, what do you know about this team?
What I know about this team is they've been putting up a pretty solid performance so far. They're 3-1 overall. So obviously dropping 1 series, not ever ideal, but not everybody can win every series unless you're like really, really good. So it is what it is, but there is some flexibility with this roster, and that's always going to be the name of the game, especially now that we're just in this weird state of Overwatch where a lot of people assumed heading into this tournament, mantra compositions were going to be big, things of that nature, but we've seen a lot of flexibility, a lot of diversity come out, and it works out well for these teams. But of course, Heroes Party isn't the only team we have in lobby on the other side of things. Sussy Sloths, Dex, look at these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a team I've been able to cast once already. They've been shown on stream, I believe, 2 or 3 times. Case, Jackish on your DPS lane, Divine coming in as your tank here, 6'7", and Giraffe Man as your support line here. 6'7", in my opinion, is probably the player on this team that gets talked about the least, but has some of the biggest impact on that support role.
Yeah, absolutely. Just from the times I've gotten to sit and watch these games, I couldn't agree with you more. 6'7" is easily one of the best supports we have, not just in this match, but just in CGL right now. And it's super criminally underrated, the support role, simply because there's so many players, like, you see a lot of Tracer, a lot of long-range hit scan that try to rely on those passive healings or going for health packs and stuff, but it's not just about healing anymore with supports. It's about setting your team up, being in position for when the time is right, and as well as, providing you utility, for anything that you need. But if we take a quick look over to the bracket, we are still just here in round 1. It is a single elimination tournament though, Dex, and, you never want to be shut out in just that one game.
Yeah, you see the bottom of the bracket there, Short Bus and Chihuahuas, easy 3-0 sweeps to get into that semifinal there. And this matchup here, we could potentially be seeing a Sussy matchup in the semifinal here, those two sister brother teams right there. I mean, it would be a hell of a storyline, but Sussy Platypus have a tough matchup in the Sea Demons there. But this matchup is really interesting because you brought up both of them 3-1, both only lost one game, which to this point is very impressive. Sussy Sloths, though, their one loss was to the team formerly known as the Mischievous Boxes, who are now the Chihuahuas, who are sitting down there in that lower bracket semifinal. Heroes Party, though, they lost to a team that did not make this mid-season tournament here. I believe it was Mizuchi Esports right there, which was their one loss, 2-2 on the season for them. But I believe that one loss came right back in once that Season 9 patch came in. So there's still a lot of big flexibility that happened when that series happened.
Yeah, of course, and that's one of those things where they have to sort of prove themselves now, right? They have to be able to say, okay, that was a fluke, Season 9 patch was still fresh, we didn't know exactly the state of the game, because, I mean, even with knowing everything, Dex, there's so much that came with Season 9 that a lot of people can't expect with that DPS passive being as tuned up as it is, but we are already jumping into the map here. We're seeing Sussy Sloths on the Junker Queen composition with the Echo Tracer. Means there's going to be a lot of poke. They're going to play at a high tempo. Meanwhile, Heroes Party playing something we have not seen before. At least I have in this tournament. The Orisa in play, combined with the Baptiste and the Tracer.
Yeah, the Orisa's a very interesting pick. I mean, I've seen it a couple times. It's been very hit or miss right now. Muyo, though, take up so much pressure, but look at what Jack is able to find Galaxy there in that backline. Divine able to get rid of Muyo right there, and that's pretty much this fight already done and dusted. Smurfing will get one for the road, but that's going to be the only thing Heroes Party gets.
Yes, indeed, and so now Sussy Sloths get a nice little cap of point here. And the Orisa, it's so interesting, right? Because it's a tank that can definitely weather the storm of a lot of things. You can definitely eat the sticky bombs from Echo. You can even tank them with Fortify, as well as Junker Queen can't do a whole lot to you unless she knows that Fortify is down and she gets up in your face. But Orisa's face is not somewhere you ever want to be with that Javelin online. So it is super dangerous to match up here.
Javelin's been coming out from Muyo there very early to engage. That's something I noticed in their last fight. They use that to engage into a fight, but they immediately back out here. And Case, though, already able to get the pulse bomb off, but will not be able to find anyone. It'll instead be Complex finding them right back. The Javelin throw will land there onto one there. Galaxy going to be able to find Jackus, and this is a great sort of response here from the Heroes Party. Seeming like they're going to be able to win this fight and then flip the point.
Yes, indeed. Now getting onto the point, taking a little bit of extra time, but that is a-okay. And something that gets utilized with the Orisa is the Baptiste back in play for Complex. A lot of flex supports have been going over to the Moira or the Kiriko with this patch. Baptiste can still output a ton of damage, and the Amplification Matrix is such a helpful ultimate. You can win so many fights randomly off of just its usage.
And I think the Baptiste with this Orisa kind of works. The Moira, you have to do a little bit more to make it work with the Orisa pick here. And you see the ultimates in this fight. Heroes Party is in the driver's seat right now, already using that damage. Is probably Smurfing going to be able to combo it with their overclock here. Already finding Divine right there, focusing in on Jackish. Case falls. Jackish going to be able to escape, get that large health pack, but they're going to have to regroup with the rest of their team here.
Advantage for Sussy Sloths is that Heroes Party just used 2 ultimates, and they didn't have to use anything just yet, which means they're going to have everything but the pulse bomb online here. The key thing that you're going to watch in this next fight is both of these teams' sound barriers and when they're used. They're pretty much going to primarily be used to counter tank ultimates, but it's going to be interesting.
Well, wow. Right there, they counter both the tank ultimates that come out. The Consumer Rush also coming out there from Sussy Sloths. They do find Mayo out early, and now it's just like dominoes. Everyone falling one after one after one there, but the Sussy Sloths, they had to invest everything into that team fight there. But the Heroes Party, they did the exact same.
Yes, indeed. And when you're heavy invest into a fight like that and lose, that's always the worst situation you can set yourselves up for, because Sussy Sloths, not only do they have the positioning advantage, but now you're going to see Case getting closer to another pulse bomb.
And again, you see Mayo just engage with that Javelin spin right there. They force Divine back. Complex going to be able to find Giraffe Man. Divine immediately taken out there. You do see one trade happen right there going the way of the Sloths, but that's going to be the only thing they get. Case, though, finds a second one. Could they do some magic here? Looks like they won't be able to.
Yes, indeed. The magic in the fingers of the Tracer right now, but unfortunately, those fingers can only do so much. And now heading on towards what could be final fight if it drags out long enough. It's a pretty clean fight. There's no ultimates online for anybody, really. It's just going to come down to raw positioning and outplaying.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's going to be a dry fight right now. Heroes Party is sticking on that high ground. Well, Sussy Sloths, I mean, they're kind of putting themselves into a corner right now, going into that small room right there. They're going to have to come out eventually. Mayo, though, gets incredibly low right there. Now you see the Sussy Sloths try to jump onto them. They're not going to be able to. They fall back instead, but Sussy Sloths don't necessarily take the advantage of going straight to point. Amage coming out here from Complex, just looking to find the kills right now. Finds one right there, throwing out some healing. Finds a second one. This Tease has just been amazing so far. 3 kills and gonna put the nail in the coffin for this first point.
As I say, I can't see stats, but it would not surprise me if you told me Complex had the most damage in the lobby right now. That Baptiste was putting in so much work, and don't get me wrong, Complex was hitting some pretty great shots, but credit has to be given to the rest of the team, creating so much space that you can't even really look at a Baptiste. It's such a minor threat when you have an Orisa barreling down into your face, or you have Galaxy, you know, potentially trying to go on a flank with this Tracer, and that's all they have to do, right? If they annoy, if they pester, eventually the damage will come through from somewhere for Heroes Party. So it's been working out for them so far. Sussy Sloths now have to find a way to answer back here, but both teams thinking the Diva might be the answer here on Sanctuary. It's going to be very, very interesting of a play indeed. You're going to see a Symmetra TP out here before the Tracer comes back online. And the only key difference you're going to see is that Baptiste still in play for Complex.
Yeah, but the Sloths are doing here, instead of going up into that side room, they just want to take the fight straight to point, which I kind of like. It forces Heroes Party here to engage into them, and a lot of their team still very far away from them, so it's really just gonna be this tank battle here for a quick moment before you see someone like Jackish or Galaxy dive in. But actually it's Easton going in, trying to find whatever damage they can right there. Now you finally see Galaxy trying just to blink their way around, cause a little bit of a distraction right there, but now Heroes Party capping this point up here a little bit. No one's falling yet, but now you see the dive in here from Mayo, immediately falls right back. A smart play there by them. Galaxy, though, harassing that backline there for Sussy Sloths. Mayo gets incredibly close to getting D-Mech'd right there. Bobby Smurfin fighting 6'7". That's a huge pick right there for Heroes Party. That's your main source of healing gone. You lose Case. Yeah, you probably lose this fight right here.
Yes, indeed, and this has just been such a long fight. You know, the point hasn't been capped either which way, so I guess that's something going in Sussy Sloth's favor right now, is that there's only now starting to be point percentage accruing for Heroes Party. But if we're looking towards what this next fight is going to shape up to, again, the thing you're going to have to keep an eye on is Complex getting closer and closer to another amplification matrix. You know, Sussy Sloths, they've got to find a way to mitigate what this Baptiste is doing. Such an insane output of healing and damage.
And just look at Galaxy compared to Jackish with their pulse bombs right now. Galaxy will be able to get their pulse bomb ready pretty early here. Jackish, I mean, it might be next fight by the time they get a pulse bomb ready to go here. Galaxy has that pulse bomb ready to go, but that animation that you talked about is ready to go, and they use it immediately. And look at what that does there, Sussy Sloths. You lose Divine. You've pretty much already lost this fight right here. I mean, 6'7" falls as well. The Sussy Sloths just running for cover here.
Yes, indeed, and that's all they can do, and it's, you know, again, Heroes Party are using their ultimates so effectively, only having to use the amplification matrix, not having to invest anything else here. But, you know, Sussy Sloths, they're finally building towards some ultimates themselves, but it's going to be another bit of a delay here as Tracer is being sent back to spawn, smurfing on this Ashe. Ashe is just so good right now with the dynamite and everything. It's so crazy.
Bomb coming out here from Divine, try to get them back into their mech here, but it's going to be Smurfing. Galaxy finding 2 immediately, so basically that bomb was really for nothing. You're going to get D-Mech'd immediately right here, staggered out, which is not what you want to see, but if you're Divine, just run back to spawn and quickly swap back.
Yeah, I mean, you literally just use the bomb. There's no harm to doing it, but it seems like that Diva's going to stay out of the spawn room, just shooting that pistol, trying to build up that mech percentage. And we're going to be closing in towards what could be final fight if Heroes Party manages to win it out, but it's going to be a heavy ult fight either which way, so everyone's going to have to try to find some sort of value. These sound barriers are going to be crucial.
Divine able to get back into that mech here, but Neptune Rush is going to be the first thing that comes out here from Sussy Sloths. Going to be countered out by the bomb. Now the beat coming out from Complex. Giraffe Man will use theirs as well right here. Sussy Sloths so close to capping the point. And the bomb coming out here from Mayo. Going to try to find anything right here. Not going to find anything, but you're seeing their teammates pick up 3 kills already. Jackish trying to pick up some slack, but no one from the Sloths will be able to get back to the point in time. And Heroes Party will take our first map 2-0.
They take in a pretty convincing fashion as well on some unorthodox compositions. You know, that first round in the mecha base, bringing out the Orisa, you know, Divine Shore, showing what a Junker Queen can do, and it was a huge rampage for this one, but unfortunately, huge rampages can only win you one fight, not multiple, so it's such an interesting situation there. And then heading on to that second round, Dex, even though both teams agreed, okay, the Diva's going to be better here, Complex still stuck with that Baptiste, and this Baptiste is just not being punished. It's insane healing output, insane damage, and there's just not an answer being put up right now by the Sussy Sloths.
Yeah, and I mean, you're looking for that Tracer to get into the backline there, try to disrupt that support line a little bit. Well, we saw that a lot from the Tracer of Heroes Party. We didn't really see that a lot from this Tracer for Sussy Sloths. I mean, like you said, that Baptiste pretty much had free range to do whatever they want, specifically on that second map where I don't think they ever died.
Yeah, I mean, if there was a death, it was, singular or one-off or anything of that nature, but back to the drawing board. The advantage of us being in a tournament right now is Sussy Sloths have the next map pick. We aren't in the set map pool or anything like that. Map 1 is set, but after that it becomes, dealer's choice of where they want to go for this map pool. And, considering what the map pool is and what they've shown so far, Sussy Sloths, I don't really know what they look more comfortable on. Like, the Junker Queen is nice and all, and they were able to get some good fight wins out of it, but that composition requires you to play at a very high tempo, very aggressively, and very coordinated, and it seems like Heroes Party was able to dismantle it pretty effectively every which way, and, again, they weren't able to get onto the supports of Heroes Party with the Junker Queen comp, so they might have to try to bring out something else here.
Yeah, absolutely. But you talk about the maps we could see here. If I remember correctly, they are Blizzard World, Eichenwald, Numbani,
Blizzard World, Eichenwald, Numbani,
Midtown.
Yes.
And I will always say, you're gonna lean with the ones you know the most. So I would probably say it's gonna be Eichenwald, but Numbani is the interesting one here. Same thing with Blizzard World, especially because of how dive heavy the first points are in those two ones. I could see a team that wants to run it, try to bring us to those two maps. We just saw a great dive comp there from Heroes Party. Maybe Sussy Sloths want to try to avoid running into that Diva again.
Yeah, absolutely. Blizzard World, also known, if you're not running dive, it is going to be those standard poke compositions. But again, you're going to want to avoid that when there's a Baptiste of the caliber of Complex on the other side of the field. So, once you weed those maps out of the pool, you're looking at Numbani or Eichenwald like, it's not a good look either which way, because again, Numbani, very good dive on first point. As the map goes throughout, though, you can get some advantage maybe on the rush. It gets better and better towards the end of that map, but Eichenwald is really just a toss-up in the air. Like, I think regardless of meta, that one's always been a diva map, just because when you're looking towards second point, it's the only character that can, reliably access those high grounds and make it so the defenders can do whatever they want. But Eichenwald doesn't matter. We just got it whispered in our ears that Numbani is going to be the way, and I don't know, maybe we're going to see some dive continue with this diva look, but I don't know. It's just going to be a very interesting play.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I could also just see something where you talked about it a little bit. Poke could come out here on Numbani. It's very interesting, especially on that first point. But once you get past that, I mean, the first 2 points, in my opinion, on Numbani are very dive-heavy map points. But after that, I mean, you could play Poke, you could play Brawl a little bit, especially after that first point. But Poke is the interesting one. I feel like you could play it on the first point and find a lot of value if that defending team or attacking team is very impatient or very just patient on diving into you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Poke as well, it can rely on some phenomenal DPS players. That lovely highlight video that we have introing every match for the mid-season tournament. One of the most iconic plays in it is an Ashe on Numbani going absolutely crazy because, DPS can just do that on this map. If you have a good tank that's holding the space for you, giving you uncontested access to just take those shots, these are good DPS players. These are no slouches. They will hit the shots if you give them the chance. It's just a matter of making sure those chances happen, and that comes back to playing the tempo game, making sure that teams can, play the way that they want to play, and if your tempo is off, regardless of what comp you're picking, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, absolutely, but Raven is not in this game right here. If you were going to compare anyone to Raven, who was the player that is that highlight, it has to be Complexity here. Yeah, it's not a DPS, but Complexity has just been such a good player, or such a good player when it comes to just aiming right now. We saw him get a 3-piece there, or a 4-piece at the end of the first point there at Mecha Base. And again, they just did so good on the second point that, you know, they never died. They were able to find a lot of picks. They got, I think, the most ultimates in that round on that second point. I mean, you have to try to shut them down. That was the biggest thing, is, you know, they were struggling, or Sussy Sloths was struggling just to shut down the support line there. I mean, on the first point, they were able to shut down Mayo a little bit because Mayo was playing that Orisa. And right now, Orisa is kind of in an interesting place where, yeah, Orisa can work, but it also can't work. And I don't think it necessarily worked how they wanted it to on that first point, but they were still able to come out on top there.
Yeah, and the Orisa into the Junker Queen is like, it's such a very specific matchup because Orisa is not favored in any real other variant of the Brawl Mirror, besides obviously if she's going up against Orion, but let's be real, everybody's favored against Reinhardt these days. But specifically against Junker Queen, you know, the wound damage and stuff, sure, it's nice and all, but Orisa has such an insane amount of armor health, the ability to use Fortify as well as Javelin Spear in order to stop the Junker Queen from, you know, getting close range with those axe swings with the Carnage. It's such an oddly specific good matchup, so I think that's where they're able to squeak things out there. But, you know, as you said, they had trouble getting into the backline here, but Sussy Sloths picked a map where their whole goal is going to be getting into the backline. As you said, they're going to be playing these high grounds on Numbani first point, and it's going to be brutal, you know, if your rotations are in sync or if your dives aren't coordinated, because this, you know, everybody so far on the side of Heroes Party has proven that they will gladly just sit back and take every pop shot in the world if you let them, because they will hit them, you will go down, and then, you know, it's just another map in their books.
Absolutely. I mean, we've been talking about that first map at length now. What does Sussy Sloths need to do here on this map to tie up this series? I mean, is it just as simple as, you know, trying to disrupt that backline a little bit, or is there more that they have to do?
I mean, I was gonna say, it's a two-way street, right? Like, you have to disrupt their backline while also making sure yours stays safe. Because, you know, as we saw, that Tracer from Heroes Party was just constantly a thorn in the side, and there was no real addressing coming out from it any which way. I don't want to call any one specific person out, but, you know, especially on the second round, the D.Va kind of fell flat. You know, there wasn't peel for the backline, you weren't engaging forward to create space, you kind of just became just another player. You became another player in the mix of that composition, and you can't have that, right? Your tank has to be the person going forward, leading the charge, or, you know, peeling to give everybody else a chance to be safe for a moment, to have these opportunities to perform. But we are finally getting into the map here. We do actually have some very interesting subs. You know, me and Dex both said that the carry was going to be 6'7", and 6'7" is going to be out in favor of Divine.
I wouldn't go as far as say to carry. I was just saying 6'7", from what I've seen, has been someone that really stood out to me on their team here. Yeah, they're summing out here for Divine, but you also see Bachi Ohio coming in as well here for the Sussy Sloths.
Yeah, and that switching of tanks is always going to be super, super crucial. You know, like I said, that second round of Busan, it was not the prettiest look, so get a fresh face in there, let them play the D.Va, something that they seem very comfortable on, and, you know, Heroes Party, they're more than happy to play this game right now. They have the Ana with the Kiriko, simply because the Ana is so good here on Numbani still with the high ground safety, but it's just going to be another poke war, especially with smurfing on the Ashe already just chucking in damage.
Yeah, but you can kind of see Galaxy is just waiting over there in that corner, waiting for someone to peek. Now that they know the D.Va's not over there, you're going to see him come out and try to put a little bit of pressure on the complex. They'll be able to find boosted here. You do see Bachi try to dive in there, but you talked about it, the peel. That was the best thing that I really saw from the Heroes Party last map, and it's starting off great here again as they're already winning this first fight.
Yes, indeed, that peel is great, especially when, again, you know, Complex got the first kill in that fight. You know, obviously Ana's a little bit different from Baptiste, but when your aim is crisp, I mean, that's still 70 damage a shot that you're throwing out, if memory serves me well, and just being able to do that consistently with more and more poke damage. You know, you see smurfing already closing in towards that Bob ultimate. It's absolutely crazy how constrictive Numbani Point A can be.
Yeah, and look at this right now. You just saw Galaxy right there kind of messing with Giraffe, forcing Divine to fall back. The rest of their team fell back with them that time, but the huge anti-nade coming out here from Complex, you're gonna be looking to try to find a kill. It does force out the immortality field, which is a huge thing there, and now, I mean, if you're Heroes Party, dive in on the support line here, because Bocce is nowhere to be found, but Giraffe Man gonna be able to find Galaxy right there. A huge opening pick, but you do lose Bocce Ohio in that mech. Muyo escapes to get their own health pack right there. Divine and Case gonna be able to find 3 right there. Easton that's gonna be the only thing Heroes Party finds this fight here, and the Sussy Sloths, they finally break through here.
Yes, indeed. Giraffe Man being able to take out Galaxy on the other side of things was super massive, not just in terms of the, value of getting a pick, but just knowing that backline could not be harassed, the safety they felt in order to go forward, even with Bocce losing their mech there at one point, it just was super, super safe for Sussy Sloths to continue that fight, but very aggressive Kitsune rush.
Yeah, they don't want to give up a lot of space here, and they already find Giraffe Man, who was pushed up a little bit too far right there. Immortality Field's gone as well, so they can play a little bit aggressive here if they want it, but they're going to smartly fall back here. I mean, they know Giraffe Man is going to be able to come out and immediately rejoin with this team here. Pretty even on the ult economy right now. The main difference is that Mayo does have their bomb here compared to Bocce Ohio, but now the Nano coming out onto Mayo. They're going very aggressive. Pulse Bomb, though, going to be Suzu'd out there. A huge play there by Easton to keep their entire team alive right there. Now the beat coming out here from Giraffe Man, Divine using their damage as well. That will be used to get rid of Bob, their Case, popping the bars. They're going to be able to immediately find Galaxy right there, as essentially it seems like the entirety of Sussy Sloths trying to focus on Mayo right here. Giraffe Man getting very aggressive right there. Bocce and Boosted picking up 2 of their own right there. Giraffe Man finding a 3rd, and the Sloths just continue to push the cart right now, but they forgot about Mayo. Eventually, though, they'll send him back to spawn.
Yes, indeed. Mayo realized that they were the last defender standing, and so just going to the cart, because making it instead of a potential world where you're staggering out a Baby Diva, they have to remove Mayo from the cart before that progress can continue. And yeah, that was super interesting fight. Heavily ulted both sides here. Heroes Party have now switched over to the Baptiste Lucio themselves, so they're going to have a little bit more speed, a little bit more agency here, but, looking forward, you have both teams with Diva Bombs. I'm hoping to see something big.
Yeah, and Smurfing going over to the Soldierin as well. I mean, it kind of focused in a little bit here that the Ash, after that bomb, wasn't really working for them. And look, they already find the first pick here, the Immortality Field gone as well. Normally, that's when we kind of see Heroes Party get a little bit aggressive here. But you immediately have to see Mayo here turn around, focus on keeping Complex alive, who invest the Immortality Field just to keep themselves up here. So if you're Sussy Sloths, I mean, you saw that come out. You have to hit that go button now, knowing that a huge piece of utility is gone, but they're instead backing up.
Yeah, potentially waiting on a respawn here, but should be able to come back into this with a big pulse bomb from Boosted.
Or Bocce Ohio throwing in that bomb right there. It would be something that catches the entirety of Heroes Party off guard if they were to use it offensively here. But it's going to be that damage coming out there from Complex. Galaxy immediately finding Boosted in that Tracer duel. And again, it's forcing the Sussy Sloths here to back up, and they lose Case late.
Yeah, and it's super interesting how Heroes Party really just kind of held advantage over that whole fight without really doing anything for it. Their positioning, you saw it. Mayo was forced to peel for Complex very early in that fight, even forced Immortality Field out, but somehow, some way, Heroes Party just continue to regain the ground, get the picks going in their favor, and now we're looking at another heavy ult fight from both of these teams.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the Sussy Sloths, especially Bocce, you've been holding on to this bomb here for a while. You're going to probably use it as a remaking tool, which, I mean, I'm not going to say is the wrong thing to do, but you do find Easton out early, so no beat ready to go for a Heroes Party. You have to go now, but you're really focused on Galaxy. You know they have that pulse bomb ready to go. They have the recall to keep themselves up there. And now you see Sussy Sloths take control of this card, try to push it a little bit more. Bocce gonna dive in here, but they know Galaxy is lurking in the shadows. The pulse bomb gets the stick right there, but it'll only find that Immortality Field there. Divine gonna use their damage as well. The beat coming out from Sussy Sloths. They want this fight and they want it now, but instead, again, they're on the back foot. Bomb coming out here from one Diva. Muyo gonna be able to find Bocce on the remake as Bocce gets demeked there by Smurfing.
And again, it's a fight where Sussy Sloths had all of the advantage, all of the agency in the world, and somehow, some way, Heroes Party just manages to sort of weather the storm, investing sound barriers and things of that nature. It's truly baffling here as we're dipping below 30 seconds. Numbani Point B is not a point you see held often, but Heroes Party is making it, quite easy on themselves here. The only thing that can stop them now is a big overclock from Case.
Yeah, Casey, they have this overclock ready to go right now. Bocce, Ohio, again, they have this bomb. If they're going to get DMAC, they need to be in a spot where everyone's going to be standing. But losing boosted early is not what you want, and now you're about to lose Divine as well. Bocce finally going to use the bomb here as a remaking tool. Not going to be able to find anyone, but will get safely back into the mech here. No overclock as Smurfing shuts it down. And the moment Casey popped it ult right there, 3 more kills going the way of the Heroes Party right now. And honestly, once they get rid of Bocce, Ohio, this round here will end. Boosted going to try to keep the hope alive right now. Pulse Bomb coming out, won't be able to find them, but it's complex just to end it all here for this round.
Yeah, and it's so just odd, you know. I think the biggest thing for Sussy Sloths on that offense was the respect being given to Galaxy, which obviously when a Tracer is harassing, you know, you have to be able to acknowledge it, right? Otherwise your supports are going to fall over time and again, and obviously you need to keep them alive. But you know, there was fights where Sussy Sloths had a pick, and instead of pressing their advantage, they all tried to peel back for Galaxy and were never able to, you know, follow up and finish that kill. So, you know, the Tracer being the one to buy space and time for Heroes Party to, you know, get whichever member had fallen back into the fight every single time. It was just a disaster. And so now Heroes Party has set themselves up for a phenomenal win condition here on Numbani.
Yeah, but I mean, Sussy Sloths, they still have a great win condition as well with this first point. I mean, it's hard to cap this first point. I mean, you talked about hard to cap second point. First point is just as hard in my opinion here. I mean, Sussy Sloths, if they play a good defense, they should be able to do it here. But, I mean, in my opinion, it really comes down to this D.Va duel. I mean, you could talk about the Tracer duel a little bit because we have seen Galaxy just pop off and Boosted has popped off as well. But the tank battle is just the most interesting thing here in this series and in this game at the moment. I mean, a lot of people did say DPS maybe got a little bit, you know, better with the Season 9 patch here, but still, tanks are very, very important. If you lose Bocce, Ohio early here, if you're the Sloths, someone's going to have to pick up the slack.
Absolutely, and again, it's just about different styles of D.Va play as well. You know, Maya, we've seen just kind of be an aggressor as well as peeling when necessary, whereas Bocce, you know, we haven't seen one way or the other exactly what this D.Va's doing. It's sort of the D.Va's holding space, so Bocce, I think, really needs to commit to a style one way or the other, and, you know, that way the rest of the team can know what's up and play around it.
And look at how Sussy is playing this right now. All 5 members are on this high ground right here. It's not like how Heroes Party was doing, where they had both the supports on the opposite side of the point. And, I mean, this might allow something like what Galaxy's doing here. Force them down, but it's going to be Casey finding Easton there on the point to get everything started. A nice pickoff here for Sussy Sloths. They just need to try to turn into 1 or 2 more picks here.
Yes, indeed. And it's just going to be a Tracer duel here on the low ground, but both these teams are just going, you know, back and forth, still trying to fight for that high ground. Heroes Party, they're not, you know, silly. They're not trying to go into a fight down a member. So now pushing through the main streets here and just trying to apply pressure to point here. And that way, once they drop down, they're in the clutches of Galaxy.
And look at what happens the moment someone drops down there. Bocce gets DMAC immediately. Smurfing gonna be able to find them there. Casey almost gets booped off the map right there, but 3 kills go in the way of a Heroes Party right now. I mean, they're just looking for the final 2 members to seal the deal here, and that's exactly what's gonna happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, like, it was such a methodical thing for Heroes Party. They slowly picked apart Sussy Sloths. They realized where the weakness would be and be like, okay, as soon as we make them drop down, we can get a pick. And they were able to utilize that with the DMAC onto Bocce perfectly. Granted, Sussy Sloths, they have an advantage here for this first fight on Streets. They're going to have the Amplification Matrix online, and that's going to be such a good tool to build the rest of these ultimates for them.
Yeah, but Divine had to use that that Immortality field there a little bit early there. You want some Lucios?
Lucios.
Bob, though, coming out, gonna get booped away, but still gonna be able to find Giraffe Man right there with some help from Smurfy. Huge Dynamite. Mayo finds Divine, the DMAC onto Bocce, Ohio, and this is all going down here, hill now here for the Sussy Sloths. I mean, are they even gonna be able to get back out and get a touch here?
If they get a touch, it might have to be off the back of Giraffe Man or Boosted, but I think there should be at least a proper contest for this final fight here. And in theory, Sussy Sloths, they have a 1-ult advantage, but this bomb could put something away.
The bomb comes out, not going to be able to find anyone. You do see the touch. The pulse bomb comes out, gets a stick on to Divine, who does use the amp matrix right there. The bomb from Bocce, Ohio will be able to find Smurfy. Galaxy, though, finding their second one in this fight right now. The beat coming out here from Giraffe Man. Complex, put their name in that kill feed once again. This this BAF has just been great so far here for Heroes Party. And look, on the high ground, they're not being bothered at all. Able to do so much damage, so much healing. Heroes Party will clean up the fight, clean up the map, and put themselves one map win away from a semifinal place.
And it's, you know, it's got to be disheartening for Sussy Sloths, because who do you look at, right? You have to acknowledge the Baptiste being such a problem, but if you try to divert attention to it, hey, here's Galaxy on the Tracer being a problem. You decide, okay, we got to try to mitigate this Tracer. Everybody focus the Tracer. Then who's worrying about the objective? Things of that nature, and it starts to fall apart and unravel. So Sussy Sloths, you know, just a tad bit lost right now. They've got to find something they can piece together here, starting with Flashpoint. Otherwise, like you said, Dex, it's just going to be a 3-0 over and done.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the more interesting thing about both these two teams here is, me and you kind of talked about, they both have, I believe, 5 or 6 players that they could sub in at any point throughout the night here. We already saw Sussy Sloths make 2 subs. We haven't seen Heroes Party make any subs, but so far, I mean, they really haven't had the need to. Sussy Sloths, on the other hand, I mean, they made those subs, and I feel like there was a need to make them there. Maybe there's a need to make some more here heading into that third map. But hey, we're going to take a little bit of a short break right now. Give the team some time to think about this before we come back into our third map. So everyone just stick around for that.
Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo.
Welcome back, everyone, from that break right there. The Heroes Party one map went away from securing themselves a spot in the semifinals here. Sussy Sloths, they need to step up here a little bit. Megalast, what do they need to do here as we head into Saravasa?
I mean, currently it's just they're lacking an identity altogether, which is so uncharacteristic for this team, you know. They are a team where anytime we've seen them before, they do have some pretty solid aggression about them, but they just seem, you know, sort of off right now. There's not really, you know, any attempts to move forward. There's not really any attempts to peel. They're just sort of stuck in this middle ground, hoping stuff's going to happen for them. And, you know, obviously Heroes Party is playing really, really well, but they're not even forcing a high tempo or anything like that. It truly is just they have control of it because there's no real answer coming from the side of Sussy Sloths. But Saravasa could be a nice little reset. This is a map where you can see a lot of the Junker Queen composition here. It can play pretty well. You can also see some of the Doomfist, but both these teams have been seeming to opt more towards that Diva whenever it becomes an option. I don't think we'll see it because it's rare, but the other day I got to cast a series with Fletch and the Zarya was in play, which, you know, could be a phenomenal answer to the Diva as well. So there's definitely options for both these teams to, you know, rock up with something a little bit different to try to take this map in their favor.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you kind of talked about during that little halftime break there. Zarya, not necessarily, you know, one of those meta tank picks, but you said it yourself, probably that sneaky tank pick here at the moment. I'm not saying we're going to see her on this map, but it's definitely one that would not surprise me. We see a team make a swap to if the cards are right.
Yeah, because it's not even just about, you know, being a good counter to Diva. That's just going to be a big check plus right now. Zarya, fun fact, with the damage buff that she received during the update patch for the mid-season 9 patch, her beam at full charge can quite literally deal damage through Transcendence. It is that powerful of a beam right now. So it's something to keep in mind if these teams want to flesh it out, because again, that's another peel tool in its own way, right? You see somebody going to the back line, you're worried about, you know, somebody staying alive, you just, hey, throw them a bubble real quick. It makes you more powerful, keeps them safe, so you can turn your attention to the other tank. And, you know, like I said, both these teams have been favoring the Diva, so it's a great way to sort of break through that Diva and sort of force the other team to make an adaptation where maybe they weren't prepared to.
Yeah, and speaking of making adaptations right here, we do know the Heroes Party bringing in 2 subs here for what could be our final map of this series here. Gur coming in on the DPS line and Honey coming in on the support line here for them. So maybe making a little bit of, you know, swaps right here. That lineup has looked great throughout the night. You think there's any reason they're making those swaps here?
It could be map specific. It could be, you know, a composition that you want to run, you know, like we were just saying, Saravasa, not exactly the most Diva friendly place in the world. This is definitely, Flashpoint's always been a more of a rush map in general for both this and New Junk City. It's just sort of the way the mode is designed. You can cycle your ults pretty well on most rush comps. Dive gets a little bit lost, but, you know, there's a multitude of things, you know, like I said, you know, if we look towards the higher level of pro play as well as some other, you know, games in these brackets, Doomfist has been played quite a bit. You know, the heroes kind of come out of nowhere. Everybody was saying he was bad at the start of Season 9, but just the tempo it allows you to play at, you know, combining damage with your Echo and Tracer, Doomfist is just such a lethal monster right now. And so I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, potentially those swaps are for that, to try to bring in some new compositions.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing, in my opinion, with Doomfist, I don't think he's ever necessarily bad. I just think you don't necessarily have the right player playing a Doomfist. No matter where he is in the meta, if you have someone who is just incredible with it, you can make the Doomfist work. But, I mean, right now, Heroes Party, they have just made anything they came out on work for them. The Orisa, a pick that I kind of criticized a little bit because I thought the Orisa not necessarily in a best spot. Mayo looked great on it. Then ever since then, it has been the D.Va, and they've looked incredible on it. We've seen the peel that they've been able to do to keep their supports alive, and that was one of the biggest things we talked about with the D.Va, is being able just to keep your supports alive by peeling back. And so far, Mayo has been able to do that. Sussy Sloths, though, I mean, backs are against the wall here if you want to move on to the next round of this midseason tournament.
Yes, indeed. But, some people say that when your back's against the wall, that's where your best is going to come out. The old saying of you got to put pressure on coal to make it diamonds. But, talk about pressure. Again, you don't want to be out of the midseason tournament just yet. You want to be able to go as deep as you can because, again, it's all about that street cred as well as, there's little bonus incentives. Being able to win the midseason tournament, you get an extra win on your record, which will make such a large difference to the postseason. Especially both these teams who are, sitting at 3-1 could both absolutely use an extra win in that win column. But right now it seems like the Junker Queen is going to be the name of the game here. The only difference is Divine is going to stay on the Baptiste, but Honey will be on the Moira, which means that Heroes Party, they have to play fast. If they don't play fast, then the Baptiste will just out-sustain them in the long run.
Yeah, this is something we kind of talked about earlier on, but Casey going to be able to shut down Honey there pretty early. We talked about how important that Moira is, and right now, the Sussy Sloths, I mean, this is a great start for them. Finding two, but Smurfing will be able to shut down Boost. If your point is open, you're going to see the Sussy Sloths just rotate back, cap that point, and await the next fight.
Yes, indeed. Obviously, not fun to lose the Tracer duel, but hey, you won the fight, so it doesn't really matter. Boosted will be able to get right back into that one. And yeah, Sussy Sloths, they, were able to utilize Casey on this Sojourn and get that Railgun pick onto the Moira of all things, taking out that large source of healing super early on, just sort of stifled Heroes Party. Heading into this next one, though, you're going to be looking for a pick like that again.
Yeah, but the disrupting shot coming out there from Gurr a little bit early. Get a force Bashi Ohio, just play around the corner while that comes out. Casey get to throw out there, same one as well. Get a force the Heroes Party to play around corners here. And you're looking for some engagement here from Heroes Party right now. I mean, you finally see them come through the choke right now. They have their eyes set there on Giraffe Man, who's just riding or rolling around the point right now, and eventually it's going to be Smurfing that's going to be able to take him out there. Divine, very low on health as well, will be the next one to fall, followed by their tank. I mean, those are the three people you do not want to see fall first if you're the Sloths.
Yeah, and it was so odd from Giraffe Man's POV, right? It was almost like he was unaware he was taking damage, but just, going straight into the clutches of the Tracer, it happens, with Smurfing just being in the right place at the right time. Now looking forward to this next fight. It could be a heavy ult invest from both these teams as Sussy Sloths are building closer, but Smurfing has a chance to shut it down before it can start with this Pulse Bomb already online.
Yeah, Divine, though, has that Ant Matrix ready to go, and I have the feeling you use that very early on in the fight. Pulse Bomb comes out, only going to hit the box, but look at what it forces out here as well. Mayo immediately finds Bachi here as Honey uses that Coalescence, focusing in here on KC. Pulse Bomb comes out for a boost and misses again right there, but it's just going to be Heroes Party cleaning up here right now.
Yeah, and using just Coalescence and Pulse Bomb is super, super massive, but Sussy Sloths only invested the Pulse Bomb here, and they have plenty enough time to get back for a final fight touch. Flashpoint, you generally need to lose that fight around 65%, which is exactly what they did. So they're going to be coming into point. They have a surplus of ultimates. It's just about connecting them and making sure there's value found.
It just comes out. Look what that does. The Heroes Party right there. They want nothing to do with it. They're going to be fine giving up this point to Sussy Sloths right here. They have ultimates to come right back in and try to retake the point very quickly here right now. But you see Casey try and take some space. They have that overclock ready to go, waiting for them to pop it off right now. But I'm looking at Easton right now, popping that beat very early on. That's their engage tool right there. Beat now coming out here from Giraffe Man as well. Both overclocks still online, but each team looking for picks right now. Casey going to pop that overclock, looking for anyone they can, being pressured out here by Smurfing a little bit, but they find Easton, they find Honey, they find Mayo right there. Three-piece right there for Casey. Will that be enough to get this first point in favor of the Sloths? It will be.
Yes, indeed. When all is said and all is done, that overclock is exactly what Sussy Sloths needed. It was looking like a dire thing back and forth here, but, all it takes is a DPS player turning it up at the right time, and that's exactly what happened. Sussy Sloths now have the first point on the board here. Always a good morale booster, but you need two more to get this map under your belt and get a chance to get back into the series.
And you have a couple great ultimates right here if you're Sussy Sloths to try to cap the point here first. But Heroes Party, I mean, they're about to have the same ultimates in their back pockets as well. Boosted, though, trying to just get away from smurfing. Not going to be able to right now. Rampage comes out there from Mayo. Will be able to find Bocce Ohio right there. But you just see the kills going their way at the moment. The Rampage was just the nail in the coffin. And Bocce, last one sent to the grave.
Yes, indeed. And I mean, hey, when you get hit with both a Rampage and a Pulse Bomb in the backline when Smurfing is doing these crazy things on Tracer, you know, there's just not a lot you can necessarily do about it. Immortality Field got spent, and that can only do so much to prevent these things, especially when the anti persists from the JQ ult. So now, heading into this next one, you know, Bocce has a chance to reciprocate, show exactly how impactful this ultimate can be, but, you know, you're looking towards something potentially like the Coalescence to try to stop this fight or stop this engage from coming in early.
And right now, you see Heroes Party. They understand that Bocce is probably holding on to this Rampage right now. They're playing very safe, very away from them right now, forcing Bocce to basically invest that to engage into them right now. Throwing knife comes out there from Mayo, not going to be able to land onto anyone, but just look at the spacing that Heroes Party has right now. Sussy Sloths, they're trying to figure out a point to engage. They're just not finding it. They finally jump down from that high ground right there, but Gurr immediately can go back up to that high ground, getting some healing now from Honey, who pops that Coalescence, but going to be smurfing, find Divine. Pulse Bomb will come out from Boosted, not going to be able to find anyone. Already 2 members of the Sloths down. Boosted will find Mayo right there, but again, you're about to lose your own Joker Queen as well. Heroes Party looking like they're going to be able to clean up this point right here and tie up the map.
Yeah, and obviously, you know, it kind of sucks that Junker Queen Rampage from Bocce only managed to connect onto Honey, but guess what? You know, somebody at Blizzard decided it'd be a good idea if Moira could have the ability to fade while in Coalescence. Don't know who thought that, but hey, it worked out there for Honey. And, you know, the, I guess, bright side for Sussy Sloths is you forced a lot of investment from Heroes Party, you know, the overclock, the Coalescence, so there's nothing online right now besides Smurfing getting dangerously close to this Pulse Bomb. Meanwhile, Divine has an Amplification Matrix, which, you know, they've shown that Heroes Party will have to respect before.
Yeah, absolutely, but right now it's Mayo finding Casey out early, not who you wanted to see fall, and you see Smurfing being able to deal so much damage with their Divine, trying to get away, but Smurfing gonna punch them as they come right back down to earth there. Bocce will take one, but that's gonna be the only thing Sussy gets this fight.
Yes, indeed, that one pick, unfortunately, never ever going to be enough on its own, and so Sussy Sloths, again, find themselves on the back foot here, and it's simply because they're not in a position to ever use these ultimates. They're getting out-tempoed, they're allowing Heroes Party to, you know, wrap around them slowly but surely, get everyone into position, so that way this damage comes through quick and effectively. You know, Sussy Sloths, they gotta be ready for this, they gotta be quicker on these engages.
Absolutely, but right now, I mean, you have 2 good engaging ultimates right now if you are the Sloths. Heroes Party, though, having the same ones as ready as well. Pulse Bomb gonna come out there. Again, gonna kind of short arm it there, not be able to stick onto anyone. Shout coming out there from Bocce Ohio. Again, you might have to invest something here, but that's a 4-man Rampage right there. Now the beat coming out from Giraffe Man, trying to keep everyone alive here, but Bocce will be the first one to fall. Pulse Bomb comes out from Boost and misses the stick onto everyone there as well. Moyo with 2, Smurfing picking up 1 as well. 4 members of the Sussy Sloths down. The 5th one shortly gonna join them.
Yeah, and that point is over and done for, you know, 85%. There's just not time for Sussy Sloths to get back, so Heroes Party will move up to match point here. Sussy Sloths are going to have to take these last 2 rounds to get it under their belt, but, you know, even when you invest a sound barrier to counter a Junker Queen Rampage like that, the Junker Queen still gets all of the healing, and you're still antied underneath it, so I promise you that Junker Queen is going to be a nuisance on your side. Heading into the next one, though, a Coalescence already.
Yeah, great opener here. Look at what that's doing to Sussy Sloths, forcing them to fall back, but Bocce Ohio not getting the memo right there, not able to fall back fast enough. Divine as well, going over to Kiriko, not able to keep themselves alive here either case. Gonna be able to escape here? No, they're not. Mayo gonna be able to find them there. The flashpoint will open up and Heroes Party will get the first cap.
Yes, indeed, and this is looking really bad for Sussy Sloths right now. The ultimates, they're about even across the board. You know, people are building towards different ones, but so far, Heroes Party, they seem rather confident with their positioning, as well as Smurfing has just been a menace on this Tracer here. So somebody's going to have to step up. There's going to have to be some extra level of coordination to come online. Otherwise, Sussy Sloths, they're looking at a loss.
KC, though, going to pop that overclock right now. Remember how crazy it went last time. They already find Gur there. They find Eason. Could they find one more with it? The nice boop there by Giraffe Man, but they will find Honey. KC with 4 this fight. Can they find a 5th? They will need to, as Boosted finds Smurfing, but Sussy Sloths take control of the point.
And Casey again grabbing the entirety of Sussy Sloths by the collar and saying, "Come with me, I will save you," and just doing it all himself with these overclocks. But you need more than just that. The overclock can't be online every fight. It's just not possible. You need Sussy Sloths as a whole to start stepping up, and Boosted potentially going to have to be a hero taking these Tracer duels.
Bocce investing in that Rampage very early on, only able to hit on the Mayo right there. Gurtho pops their own overclock. The pulse bomb from Boosted, though, finds 2. Gurtho, not to be outdone, finds 3 with their own Ultimate Divine. They're going to be able to shut them down here. It's even across the board. Smurfing, though, alive and kicking is the worst thing you would want to see right now. If you're the Sussy Sloths, they're just able to do so much damage, but Easton will find Divine, and the Heroes Party will retake the point.
It's just absolutely absurd, the fact that, Smurfing and Easton just got to turn that. It was definitely a fight that Sussy Sloths had in their favor. Everything was done just right, but Gur hits an insane overclock, combines it with Smurfing being alive, doing the damage. So now, you're looking towards final fight scenario potentially, and Heroes Party, they have the tools to make this work. All that Sussy Sloths will have is this Kitsune rush, empowering everybody, trying to make it work.
And Mayo going to be able to find Bocce out here very early. Easton gets the boop kill. They're on to Casey. I mean, the Kitsune Rush coming out here. Divine will be able to find Gur here. The beat coming out now from Easton, as that might just do it for this series. It will. The Heroes Party going to continue the party on into the semifinals.
Heroes Party, they displayed an insane amount of confidence here across multiple compositions, across multiple maps, and they just sort of did exactly what they needed to every single time. It was absolutely insane and ludicrous to watch just how great they were, how in sync they were, and just coming away with map after map in such a confident fashion in, a highly heated tournament like this, Dex. It's, a good omen for them for the rest of this bracket.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they looked great tonight. This is the first time I saw Heroes Party throughout this entire season. I mean, they looked to be one of those scary teams. And like you kind of said, that one loss they had, seemed to just be a little bit of a blip in the road. An unfortunate loss that came just probably after that Season 9 patch when everyone was trying to figure out what was the new good. And it just seems like they've kind of found that comfort right now. But, I mean, if you're the Sussy Sloths, you take a lot away from this match here. You went up against a really good team. Yeah, you got swept, but hey, this doesn't affect your record. You're still 3-1 going into your game next week. You learn a lot from this one, and learn it and bring it into your next game, and just try to carry it with you throughout the rest of the season, because there's a good chance you see this team again at some point.
Yes, indeed. Obviously, the playoffs at the end of the season are still a goal for them. 3-1 is a record that can certainly get you there if you can carry that sort of momentum. But, obviously it sucks to lose a series like this. But again, you hit the nail on the head. Just take it as a learning opportunity. Figure out what went wrong. Like I said, Sussy Sloths, they just did not look like they had, a desire to go one way or the other. And having, just somebody to decide, hey, listen, we are being aggressive, or hey, we're going to peel. Like, that's all you really need in that situation. Even if it doesn't work out, it gets a whole heck of a lot closer when you're just making those decisions, even if they're not necessarily the right decisions.
Absolutely. But with that being said, Heroes Party will move on to the semifinal here in the NA Console Open tier. We'll take on the winner of the Sea Demons or their sister team, or the sister team of the Sussy Sloths. I believe that was the Sussy
Platypuses?
Yes, Sussy Platypuses. You got that one.
Wow, I remembered it.
Megalass. Yeah, thank you for remembering, because I forgot it right there. So, I mean, Heroes Party could go up against the entire Sussy Esports team, or Sussy Esports organization here right now. But Sea Demons, a very, very formidable opponent right there. But hey, that will do it for us here on this stream tonight on CGL 3. But you guys are going to want to stick around here, because at 10 o'clock we have another game on CGL 1. But right after this, stick around. We're going to be rating CGL 2 as that series is still going on. We want to give a quick shout out to Headrammer Mara and Orange for their work behind the scenes. They did a great job tonight. Megalas, I want to thank you for being my co-caster tonight. You were great as always. But that will do it for us here at CGL3. Make sure you stick around as we raid CGL2, and have a good night, y'all.